Welcome to Absolutely Marvel and DC. I'm Benny, this is Dylan, and today we're going to look at some of the top theories as to what is going on with Wandavision as of episode 7.
Yeah, a lot of episodes.
All right, let's go through these. So we've got a few of these drummed up through various websites, Reddits, and stuff like that. The first one, the big theories. Who do you think the still unrevealed aerospace engineer friend that Monica Rambeau referred to is speculated as? The speculations are Reed, Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel, or Riri Williams. I actually didn't think of Riri until I saw this. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't think it's Reed or Riri. I think that because they've made like too many references to whoever this person is to have it be just a no-name character at this point, because Monica keeps saying like, oh, my friend, and then refuses to name them. But
exactly. Why wouldn't you just name your, oh, my friend, Dylan? Like,
yeah,
oh, my friend, Reed.
it's clearly some kind of reveal, but I think people who are like, it's gonna be Reed Richards or Wolverine, they're like, no, that's too far, I think. I
don't think it's Riri just because her age wouldn't line up. I guarantee that show is intended for her to be like the youngster.
Yeah, that's fair. I think Blue Marvel makes a lot of sense just because of like Spectrum, Monica Rambeau's like recent goings on in the comics.
Yeah, and it would be another great character to introduce through the show that needs a lot more spotlight. I feel like Reed's too big and would steal the spotlight for the last couple of episodes.
Yeah, that's kind of my whole thing is like this, similar with and we're full tilt spoilers. If you haven't seen up to episode 7, get out of here.
It's a theory episode. What are you?
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing here? The whole Evan Peters Quicksilver thing. It's the same people who were like, oh, that means they're introducing the X-Men into this universe. I immediately was like, no. They're just playing with some funny casting, and then maybe later they can do that if they want to.
Well, I will say in relation to that, the leaks, and this isn't spoiling anything for you, the leak that I read about the Evan Peters thing was, it didn't spoil any of it, but it said that wasn't wasted as a throwaway. That's intended to lead into something.
Yeah, but I think, depending on when that came out, the intended to lead into something could have just been the Agatha Harkness reveal, because
that's true.
That is who did that. That's who changed his appearance.
I feel like with the, and we can talk more about this in another video, but I'm just going to quickly comment. I think that the Evan Peters reveal is to imply that universe exists. I think that's the nexus of realities.
Yeah, my like, I made a really vague tweet about it. Is basically saying that like the reason he is there is so that they can easily say no, he's not that, or they can say yes, he is, depending on what they want to do, like come Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness and stuff. But I don't think right now they're like, oh yes, that is Evan Peters Quicksilver, because they're leaving it up on the table basically. And I think it's a similar thing with the aerospace engineer. It's not going to be like some massive MCU world-breaking reveal. It's probably going to be someone related to Spectrum, like Blue Marvel, or maybe it'll just be a disappointment and they wrote it weird. Who knows?
Yeah, this whole time it actually was nobody, and that's why she didn't give a name. They were just like, I have a friend, and it's like who the final villain of this whole series is going to be, and everyone's like, it's Nightmare, it's Mephisto, everywhere it goes.
Nope.
But let's move forward here. Agent Hart theory is that Agatha Harkness is keeping ManThing prisoner in the basement. That's the direction to the nexus of realities that we're getting. I see this. Haven't they implied they're doing something with ManThing finally?
The only MCU like ManThing reference that I can remember is when Maria Hill in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like season 1 or 2 name drops ManThing, and that's. So like ManThing has been mentioned in the MCU, but well, technically some people are like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah, but there's also
it's a whole thing.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. apparently is getting written out of continuity. I don't even know why or how or.
It's if you watch all of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you could easily headcanon it as taking place in a different timeline. at this point.
Yeah, the stuff that I have seen, because it doesn't ever get referenced. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. at first is supposed to be like, well, here's what's happening during the movies. But then it went in its own direction. So then LMD Universe and Ghost Rider and Tahiti, and it was just starting to get a little crazy.
Yeah, it became its own thing, and quite literally in the last season, for people who haven't seen it, is time travel. So, and Endgame was also time travel. It's always been mirroring what's happening in the MCU at the time.
Yeah.
And it split off into its own direction. So it very easily could be a different timeline. So who knows if that thing was ever even a thing. Saying thing too many times. Maybe the aerospace engineer is the thing.
The next big thing was the agent Jimmy Woo is going to form up the Agents of Atlas as a result from the TV show. I think that'd be a fun spin, but I don't think we're going to go that way. I don't think we're getting Agents of Atlas out of this at all, even though I think it's fun.
Yeah, I think a lot of these theories, like people who the theories that make headlines are so exciting to read about, but are so unrealistic.
Okay, so this guy, Jimmy Woo, who we're all enjoying in the show, he's going to get a full spin-off with his own cast of superheroes, all based on his... he's not the star of the show. He's just he's a supporting cast. He's a fun time, and he's been like a fun character in the MCU for a while, but it's not it's not the Jimmy Woo show, and it could be, and a lot of people want that, and I think Joel, who friend of the show, tweeted when everybody was like, Jimmy Woo should get his own show where he solves crimes. He was like, yeah, that's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It lasted 7 seasons and you all hated it. Yes, please go watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I haven't. I've only seen it up to Ghost Rider and I dropped off.
I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is my favorite show. I love that show.
I do like a theory that was floating around and pitched that Jimmy Woo was going to get another character, not Darcy, and they were going to do like an X-Files kind of show where they followed all the weirdisms in the Marvel Universe. I thought that'd be a fun show.
That's just Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
No, it's not. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had 13 episodes for one weirdism.
You watched
what if it
4 seasons of it. There's 7.
What if there's a Monster of the Week Jimmy Woo thing?
That was season 1 and everyone hated it.
All right, next theory. We can rant about that later. We gotta keep moving. Next theory. So apparently this 10 episodes of WandaVision is making for a popular theory that there's actually a secret 10th episode. This has kind of been debunked already, though, so I guess the actors are slated for 10 episodes. But Disney Plus announced a follow-up show showing behind the scenes, which would make sense for a 10th episode if you're doing a behind-the-scenes discussing WandaVision. Do you think that they're going to throw a 10th episode out there, or do you think that this is just the making of?
I feel like something like this happened with The Mandalorian too, where they were like, there's going to be more episodes than there were, and there weren't. So I don't know. I don't ever believe stuff like this. I think that would be interesting, but all of the episode titles are held back until the day of release. So I don't know why they would hold number of episodes back. That would just be confusing to me.
I remember reading a long time ago that you'll read this a lot of times, that actors are slated for extra episodes that don't exist for the purpose of basically it's an easy way for them to put into a contract reshoots, cameos, things like that. Because you're slated for this extra one and we might need you later. You know what I mean? That kind of a thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, if we knew more Hollywood speak, I'm sure I don't know if a behind the scenes episode counts as a full episode, even if it's just BTS footage that they shot. Do they still need to be paid for that, for the same amount that they would have? Paid,
but what if they were doing interviews in the middle of it at the same time?
Yeah, would that count as, would they just put that in the contract, like you were saying, as an extra episode so that they could cover all their bases? I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't
next
think...
theory... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I don't think, even if there is a 10th episode, it's not they... Unless they did, this has happened in the past, or unless they went back and shot a 10th episode, I don't think it's going to change anything.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to break anything unless they're going to come back later, the 10th episode's after Doctor Strange.
Yeah, that would be weird.
There's a 10th episode of WandaVision out now, guys. All right, so the last 2 big ones that I wanted to talk about here, I guess last 3 because the last one's just more for jokey, but the next theory is, and I love this theory, the people in the commercials that keep coming up. Now, one, I wasn't aware they were the same people until I read this theory. And then I looked back and I'm like, because of the time period changing and they're only there for a minute each time. Yeah, it is the same people. Every one of those commercials relates to a trauma in Wanda's life. And we figured that out a little while ago. Mm-hmm. But I love the idea that the people in the commercial are actually her parents. What do you think about that?
I think that's possible. I don't think anything will ever come of that, aside from like maybe we see a photo of their parents or something, and then that ties it together. I hope they don't go in a direction where like, oh God, I just thought of this. If like Wanda accidentally conjures her parents up or something, that would be stupid. She's done enough of that. I don't know. That would be, fair play for them setting that up since episode 1 if that happens. I just think that's a little too hokey.
What if it is her parents, but they're not alive? It's just this is how she re-envisioned them with their magic, and they're there, and we'll
that's
get
what I'm
like
saying.
a nod.
That seems like, we've already done that with the kids. We've already done that with Pietro. Like, we're gonna do it again. Like, we're gonna bring her whole family back and then kill them all, and make
one
her even
fell
more
swoop, like
messed up. Yeah, it's like, okay, we get it. Just some subtext. I like the commercials as just like fun little era playing subtext.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. All right, the next one, and the last two are kind of tied together. And they're less theories and more us goofing around with it. How do you think Vision's gonna make it, and can he? Because here's the reason everyone's like, Vision can't make it. Far From Home shows him missing, shows him dead. The in memoriam, why can't I say the word? Yeah, in memoriam of Vision, and I think they had Cap on there and Iron Man and things like that. No, I don't like that answer because Vision could easily be back in hiding. Like,
and are they saying that because Far From Home takes place? When does it take place? It's not too
after
far
WandaVision. Yes, but it is after WandaVision.
Okay. All right. Well, no. I'm sure, if Sword wanted to wake Vision back up, obviously they're going to spread to the general public, the teenagers that made that in memoriam video that Vision is still dead. That's not going to get out that he's back or anything.
That's what I figured. It's not like at the end of this he's like, and I'm alive. World, see me.
Hello. Like, no, that's not. I think I don't think he's I think he'll probably make it out in some way. I don't think they're just going to completely kill him off. That would be kind of boring because I feel like he really hasn't gotten his due.
No, and he's finally is getting his due. What I think, and my theory is he's going to die. Like, this is going to be the end of him. But they're gonna rebuild him. His memories are going to be wiped or something. So like Wanda can start fresh with him or something like that. Like and that would be why Vision's dead, because this is not Vision anymore. This is the next version. What's that super white version of Vision when he rebuilt himself midway in the comics?
Oh yeah. Oh man, that would be crazy to see on screen.
Exactly.
I think, anything's possible. I think it's if Far From Home takes place after WandaVision, it's possible that the Multiverse of Madness stuff takes place at the same time as Far From Home, and then he comes back at the end of Multiverse of Madness into the public eye, and that's why. Or
what if he's Pinocchio?
Spider-Man
what if he's just going to become a real boy?
Could. Anything's possible. Wanda could build him a body. She made 2 children, so
yeah. He's just Pinocchio now.
I will say, actually, I'll save that to the end. I have some like all-encompassing theories for like the whole show that I kind of want to.
We'll move on to our last thing, so you can go into that. The only thing is, who do you think the real villain is? I know everyone played that game of Mephisto. I actually thought it wasn't Mephisto this whole time. I feel like Mephisto's kind of like a weird deep dive. And he's not even a part of House of M, which I find to be the weirdest part about, like, it's Mephisto. That's why earlier I was asking, like, what is the name of the demon that actually possesses her? It's an elder god in the comics that possesses her. In Chthon. It's basically supposed to be their Cthulhu.
I just say Thon. Yeah.
Thon. But yeah, it's basically
easier.
their Cthulhu is what controls her. And why would we deep dive into Mephisto in WandaVision when if you're deep diving and creating something, do the elder gods. Show that the elder gods exist and link them to Dormammu, which would link all of this to the Multiverse of Madness.
Right. I think we've already seen the villain. If you need a villain, it's Agatha Harkness. And
do you think that they're not going to go beyond her, and this is going to be the villain?
I don't know why they would, because there's what 2 or 3 episodes left if the 10 episode whatever comes true. Like that's That would be just bad writing.
No, actually, what I foresee happening is it's going to be led to believe that Agatha did everything this whole time. And then the ending is going to be tied to that book that's missing, the Darkhold that everyone's theorizing, but I don't think it's the Darkhold, because if it is the Darkhold, then you are 100% canonizing that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not in continuity.
Right, exactly.
So I don't think it's going to be that. I think that would be too much of them literally going, we don't want that anymore. Mm-hmm. But I do think that we're going to find something was manipulating Agatha, is what I think. And they'll just imply that, and it'll be resolved in the Multiverse of Madness. Because imagine if they introduce Chthon, but as like the teaser, and then Doctor Strange fights Chthon.
Yeah, I think so. My all-encompassing theories for the end of this show, if we're going to get any big MCU tie-in drop, it's gonna be Doctor Strange showing up at the end, and it's going to be Wanda finally being called Scarlet Witch, which I didn't realize she hadn't been called in the MCU until.
I agree with you. The name drop is going to happen. Otherwise, they wouldn't have mentioned it, because they straight up mentioned it at the very beginning. So I do feel like they're going to straight up call her that at the ending.
Yeah, and I think...
Do you think they'll do it like in a jokey way? Like, you look like a Scarlet Witch, Wanda!
I certainly hope not. I think... I don't know how they could organically put it in there. Maybe she goes crazy and calls herself that. I'd be cool with that. The problem I have with like something controlling Agatha, like going a step further, is that the point of everyone points to like House of M and Avengers Disassembled and Vision, comics that influenced this show, and the point of most of those, with the exception of Avengers Disassembled, because then she was possessed by Thawne, in House of M, Wanda did all that because of influence from her brother and her own trauma.
Yeah.
And just her being crazy.
She just had the power from Chthon at that time. He wasn't influencing her, as far as I know.
Yeah, no, that was all her, and that's what I think is interesting about that story and is interesting about her character. I think the direction that they're going in this show is that Wanda clearly has a grip on the Hex, but there are things that are starting to spiral out of her control, and she doesn't know why they're happening. That's Agatha's doing. I don't think that there is an overall like Mephisto-like character. Maybe that gets pulled in to tie into Doctor Strange, but the way that I
don't think they're going to show up. I don't foresee like a villain just showing up and going, har har har, I was the boss. Yeah.
Right.
It was a giant CGI battle.
Right.
They pull. I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for you and those damn kids.
They Scooby-Doo it. That'd be horrible. No, I think that, like, ideally to me, when they first announced Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and that WandaVision would, like, heel-toe into it, my thought was, oh, cool, Wanda's gonna go crazy, and Doctor Strange is gonna have to reel her in, and train her in some way and explain chaos magic and all this stuff. And I hope that's what they're doing, and it seems like that is what they're doing. And I kind of hope Strange doesn't show up at the end of the show, just so that WandaVision can kind of exist on its own, and the end of the show is a status quo change for Wanda, where Wanda, because I don't remember, I think it was Kevin Feige or one of the showrunners said that WandaVision is a show about Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch, and so I think the status quo change that will lead into Multiverse of Madness is Wanda becoming the Scarlet Witch and maybe going too far and doing something too much, maybe because of Agatha influence or someone, and then, boom, Doctor Strange has to sweep in and stop her, and she's the villain of that movie. That's what I hope happens. That's what I think is most realistic.
I would be on board if that's the theory. And we'll be doing another one of these types of videos after episode 8 airs this Friday. And if you want to know more about our individual opinions of all the theories, because we'll probably be doing a lot of individual videos so that we can deep dive into each of these theories next time. This one's more of a condensed version just because we're playing catch up because this channel's new. But basically, if you want to know more about our deep dive theories, a lot of that's going to be coming out after episode 8. So make sure you stick around at this channel, check back. We'll be rolling into WandaVision episode 8 Easter eggs, theories, and we'll see after episode 8 if you still have that theory as to how it's going to end, Dylan. If it's going to end with her...
Maybe Mephisto shows up and the Hulk smashes through a wall, and then Doctor Strange comes in riding on a motorcycle, and suddenly everything that I've said is useless. Who knows?
What would you think? Okay, you know what? That would be the Hulk breaks the wall down, Doctor Strange on a motorcycle, and then they're like, and Ghost Rider's here, and we're all like, what is even happening anymore?
And it's the one from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and he has the Darkhold in his hand, and we're like, whoa!
All right, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know in the comments down below what you think about your theories, and we'll see you real soon with more WandaVision, Falcon, Winter Soldier, DCEU, and all kinds of fun stuff here at Absolutely Marvel and DC. I'm Benny, that's Dylan, and we're Chaos Magic. Woo!